viewers, once again we're back with you in our second edition, having a casual interview, to the point interview with Mr. McSood here at Nagico. And we want to remind you, if you didn't see the first part, you should make to see it, as we will repeat it. Very interesting information. This edition is brought to you also by St. Martin Harbor Holding Company, GEBE. Thank you so much. We want to thank our friends over at Nagico. Thank you. We want to thank our friends over at Dolce Vita, wonderful restaurant down at Paula Plavance, and Easy Laundry right there in Dutch Quarter. Thank you so much. My dear friends, please sit, pay attention, and learn from a rather seasoned businessman. Mr. McSood, once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time once again for us to talk about current events, about the future, and about various ambitions that you have. In our last interview, we spoke from a world perspective about things that's happening in the world that can affect us. In this edition, we want to talk a little more closer to home. Off camera, I was telling you about a situation where I met a couple. Last year I did some business in real estate. We sold some properties and so forth. And some folks came to ask me if I was selling more land. I tell them I reached to the point of life now I got grandchildren, I can't sell no more land. And we got into a conversation from last year to this year. Recently they came to see me again, where they qualified for $250,000 at the bank, $250,000, and they can't find a house on St. Martin for that price.
It's not meeting probably what they would want,
well,
a house at that price.
Well, they're not asking much,
Okay.
Two middle income people, professionals, have one child, and they want a house. They're not looking for nothing down in our rich neighborhoods. To what do you attribute, in the Caribbean perspective? Because when we look at the Caribbean, Mr. McSood, the economy in the Caribbean is not good. Would that be fair to say?
Very fair to say.
To what do you attribute that our prices are still holding? Because it's to be honest with you, I'm sometimes amazed how our real estate prices can continue to hold in the world economy and in the Caribbean economy. To what do you attribute that? Why do you think so?
Well,
am I seeing it wrong?
Well, I think the prices have fallen in many parts of the Caribbean, especially commercial real estate have fallen, and some house lots and so on have fallen in other parts of the Caribbean, but not by much.
Okay.
And closer to home, St. Martin, I mean, it's a few things that I would attribute it to. Number one, it's probably sadly so the high cost of doing business generally in St. Martin.
St. Martin is high?
Right, very, very high. But I'll come back to that a little. Prices are always driven, all economics, as you know, are driven by supply and demand.
That's it.
And the truth of the matter is that St. Martin's population keep growing, right? But land don't grow.
They say God make more people, but He ain't making more land.
And we are a small island.
Yes.
So the land size availability is already restricted.
Reaching its limits, you would say.
It's curtailed, And we have to probably start thinking differently to get the prices done, and that is like some countries have done. If you go to Hong Kong, that's right. Yes, but you make use of the space upwards, right? So until we come to that, but we are still largely our Caribbean mind.
Yes.
And I am
want
just as guilty as I want a piece of land. You want some of your children run about in the yard, and so on. If
you want a piece of land.
If you're going to spend money on a house, right? Then you want a piece of land. You could
Yes.
maybe plant a banana tree even, or
Yeah,
something.
you
You don't plant a damn thing.
Right,
you
right,
just
right,
need the
right.
land,
You want it,
right?
so-
You want a piece of land. It's and it's a good
It's
mindset.
a Caribbean thing.
Yeah, it's a Caribbean
and as you
thing.
said, it's true.
Yeah, and it's and I
Not
think it's a good
necessarily-
thing.
not
No,
necessarily
it's a good
wrong.
thing. It's a good thing.
Right.
It's
right.
a good thing. But so you have a supply and demand problem to begin with. So that's one. And the population is not getting any less. The
No,
population is
no.
growing. I mean, you have been in politics.
Right. that's true.
Check the voting register 10 years
10
ago.
versus now.
Now it's probably double.
Yes,
right?
almost. Yes,
So,
that's
so,
almost.
so that's
And the
the
population
reality.
has grown even more.
Exactly.
Even more than the
because
voters
the
register.
kids not ready to vote yet.
There you go. Right.
So-
and then the influx of people that are working but can't vote.
Can't vote. Exactly. So it's a reality,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's what we have to deal with. But also the high cost of doing business has a lot to do with it. Taxes are simply too high in St. Martin, and I know whenever I say that, people say, "Oh yeah, all business people complain about taxes," But the truth is, I pay a lot of taxes, and I tell people that I think between Nagico and my car companies and so, I pay nearly $1 million a month. A month in taxes, right? So it's not that I'm complaining necessarily, but it does not bode well
Yes.
when
For business
taxes are
development.
so high
For business development.
for business development, and therefore you have the cost of construction becomes high. That's why every now and again you see SZV now do a raid to a construction
Yes.
site, because the contractors, if they have to pay all these costs, wages and SZV and AOV and and people are thinking. And a lot of them are thinking, well, why do I need this SZV and AOV when this project will be done in a year?
Right.
And people mightn't get sick, so I
to
pay
get-
all this money, so that people don't
Again,
pay.
people try to maximize their profits by getting around
But if
regulation.
you want to do it right, then the cost is very
It
high.
costs, yeah.
The cost of land means the cost of storage is
Yes,
high.
yes.
It means the cost of storefronts are high,
High.
right? So,
Well, the
so the
stuff-
people who are
well,
selling
the cost of import is cheap.
exactly. Right, but the cost of import is cheap, but
Yeah.
then the additional
Yes,
costs
yes.
that go on top of it probably far outweigh
That's true.
the
That is-
shipping cost or the tax that some countries pay
Right.
in import duties, right? Because maybe in Angola they pay import duties, or some countries it's 25%,
Some is up
right?
to 50, man.
Right, but on a lot more, generally speaking, in the Caribbean,
that's
it's
true.
about 25%.
I know the
And-
Bahamas
and,
went up real high recently.
Yeah, but because of the VAT.
Oh,
They
okay.
introduced
Okay.
VAT. But you've got all these these costs. So people come and the 25% import duty is quickly taken up
Yes.
by rent. For example, I might rent a place in Curacao for 1,000 guilders a month. Here,
Versus
you have to-
$1,000.
maybe 5,000 for
For
the
that
same
matter.
space.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah,
that
because of the scarcity of space.
exactly, because again we have we only 16 square miles,
That's it.
and therefore so the cost and so that those things are certainly happening, and people must not underestimate what I call the underground economy. There is a lot of money that circulates.
Yeah,
So
unofficial.
people get taxed up here, but there are also people who can get a job and maybe get minimum
Right.
wage or a little bit more, but then they have another job going on at the side,
there's
or
something
there's
quiet.
something right, something quiet, and therefore the prices keep rising, because the demand is there through population growth and everything else.
Nagico doing business in over 20 islands in the Caribbean, 26 to be exact. How do you, and as you said, you travel frequently to the other islands. And when we compare St. Martin to the other islands, the island here is still bustling. St. Martin is still a bustling little place. Because sometimes you visit some of the Caribbean islands on let's call it a Saturday afternoon, and it's quiet, very, very quiet. While St. Martin on the Saturdays when things really hustle around here. Why is that we don't see that bustling in the Caribbean in general? Because if you leave from here, go to Trinidad, you'll see that bustle. St. Martin, you see it. But even when you go to the Western Caribbean, you don't see that. Why do you think the difference?
Well, first of all, we have a very we have a large transient population,
Yes.
right? And that large transient population,
People that just come,
they
stay for a
come
couple of months,
for
and
a
they
while,
move.
and they spend their money,
Right.
and they're ready to move, and so on, and they need to do things. Whereas in some countries, it's more family
Yes,
time, right?
yes.
So countries where they're more family time, people go to work, they come the weekend, as you say,
Yes.
and they spend time with their
Family,
child and their
home.
family and what have you. When you have 60% of your population are people with no family ties here, their fun and entertainment and so on is to hang out.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and this is what is happening, you know. And
Yeah.
some people would say, well, maybe
I didn't see that.
they should save money, but that's not always the case.
No,
you know,
no.
our Caribbean mentality: you got money in your pocket, you spend it.
Yeah, that's as simple as that.
That's as simple as that. That's our mentality.
No. That is true. But I wanted to kind of paint that picture where, because average we must understand in St. Martin that we still have a good thing going on the side.
Which is the other point I was going to make, and
Please.
that is partly also fact, and that is that St. Martin has managed to maintain their economy, even though they have not had growth, massive growth.
Right?
So GDP has not been, you know, at 5%.
No,
It's been at 0.5 according to Minister Gibson,
Mm-hmm.
and some central bank time maybe 1% or somewhere between 0.5 and 1% is where it has been.
Yeah, so
But that's okay when from 2008 to now, the rest of the Caribbean are some of them -5 and
They've
-10
declined
and they
versus-
decline.
right.
At least we have maintained that
maintain
status
what we
quo.
have.
And the question is, well, why has that been so? Well, a few reasons. Number one is that we have a better infrastructure than several islands. Even though
many
we don't
people
say
won't believe that.
No,
Many
I
people
know,
won't believe
I
that.
know, but it's true. And people come and want to experience that infrastructure. They want to
Right.
be able to experience that our airport is better than most of,
Yes.
of the others.
If not
Our harbour
all.
is
Yeah.
better than most. So you get the people still
Yes,
coming here.
Right.
And we must
That'd be a
not-
major factor, really. Huh?
And we must not forget something very important. I hope that the government is going to look after legislation and do things to look after these people, because our timeshare has been a real blessing
Yes.
during a
During
very
the
bad
hardest time.
period of times, right?
If we didn't have time, sure, during Lewis, we were finished.
Not only Lewis, after 2008,
Right.
when Americans
When
couldn't have
America
job
went-
and so on, but people have already paid for the thing.
Yes. So they
And
might
once
as well
it gets
use
cold,
it.
they're going to come, right? So that
That is
timeshare was a
correct.
real blessing,
Right,
and
right.
when
That pulled
timeshare
us
people
through.
come, which is far more advantageous than when cruise ship passengers come. And I'm not saying cruise ship passengers must not come,
No, naturally not.
but the truth is, this island need to concentrate more and more on stay-over tourism, and that's what timeshare offers.
Yes,
Because most
yes.
people from timeshare come and spend a week. When they spend
And
a
in
week,
that week-
they will rent a car. They will shop in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
They will go and eat at the
They will put
restaurants.
dollars into the economy.
restaurants. They will go and shop in
Yes.
the stores in Front Street as well.
That is correct.
So they are a better form of tourist, right? Because they spend a lot more than
Yes.
than
Right.
the others, because they're here for a week and they're committed, right? And so that is a real blessing. You take that away, then our occupancy from 2008, at least until maybe 2 years ago, would have been terrible.
We'd be
Yeah.
with even
Would-
more unemployment.
But a lot more problems would have been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is that, and
So that the advances in Martin still have
Right.
that edge
right.
as we go along.
In addition, we are also, for good or bad, we are also still not independent countries,
Right.
right? So there is some fallback positions that we have
Yes.
compared to the other islands in the
You
Caribbean.
got a safety net.
That there's a safety net.
You
The
got a
other
safety
the islands in the Caribbean have to foot the bill themselves,
Yes,
right?
yes.
There is some element of that here. I mean, for years, for the maybe except for last year, but up to the end of 2014, that side of St. Martin had a very powerful invisible economy, or maybe not even invisible, very visible economy from French side.
Yes.
Right? Because the
Yes.
euro was high,
Yes.
and the people will come and shop and
Yes,
spend
they'll
their
shop.
money over
Right,
here.
right. So we
That
have
was an
a
immense
tremendous
boost
influx
to St. Martin. So you see a lot of this busyness in St. Martin, right, going on.
That's right. Yeah.
But perhaps if you go to Marigot, you wouldn't tell me the same thing.
No, you won't.
You might have said, oh, Marigot is similar to the other islands, right?
No,
because
no,
the people were coming and spending the money here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the government of France was paying a lot of people unemployment benefits, women that have a child, 2 child, 3 children,
that
they
money
all get
also
money.
was coming.
That money trickling over here.
Was coming
right?
over here.
So
Yeah.
those things were very important for our economy. But with the euro now getting a little bit more
closer to the dollar, 1 for 1.
Then
you see it evening out.
Then
huh?
you start to see it evening out.
Yes,
That's why
yes,
you
yes,
heard
yes.
that little battle that was going on with my good friend Christopher Emmanuel and some of them about
the supermarket
the
and
supermarkets and all right
versus
exactly.
Grand Marché.
Right.
Right,
but
right.
but of course I would trust the people at Grand Marché to be able to, being good business people, to find a way
I think
to.
it's balancing.
Oh
out.
yes, it's balancing out. So I'm sure
Yes.
that they will do it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Danny
Yeah.
is a
Yeah,
supremely good businessman.
He knows what he's doing.
So they'll manage. But that is something government has to look out for, though,
yeah.
because we've only seen the impact of that for 1 year. I mean,
But suppose-
the withdrawal of
Yes, yes,
euros,
yes,
right?
yes.
But if this continues for an
It can have
extended period of
devastating.
time,
It can have
it could
devastating.
have a lot of effect
consequences.
on us over here.
We talked of views on the world. We're looking at the Caribbean. Now we're going to come to St. Martin. How does Nagico St. Martin stack up in the Caribbean? With Nagico Caribbean,
We're still the biggest in terms
Still.
of premium. We're probably not the most profitable because the margins.
because
are,
again of the
the
cost of doing
the
business.
high cost of doing
Yeah,
business.
okay.
Yes, right.
So while the
So-
volume may be more, the
Right.
profitability
So a
is
place
less.
like BVI and smaller islands, St. Lucia.
Volume
and
is
so
less,
on.
but
Volume is less, but
profitability is better
Profitability is better.
because of the cost.
That's right. Yes. So, here, if you want to pay somebody, if you want to pay somebody in St. Martin $5,000 a month salary, it will cost you $10,000 a month.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, if you want them to pay $5,000 in their pocket, right? You're talking about the taxes.
Well, all the
involved,
taxes you gotta
the
go.
SZV, the AVV, the this, the that, you name it.
I thought only on the French side it was that bad.
Oh,
That 5,000 would cost you
The
5,000.
difference is, well, if you get to 5,000, you're almost close to 50% tax rate on St. Martin.
That's a
Think
lot.
about
That's
it.
a lot. That's a lot.
Right.
That's
So if you want to pay somebody 5,000 net, you got to start paying them about 10,000.
about 10
That's
for them
right.
to get 5
to
in
get
their pocket.
5,000 net in their pocket. So the cost, and because this is the head office,
Right.
Nagico,
Right.
all the best brains I want around here.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we got to
yeah,
manage,
All of the
yeah,
rest.
right, this is master control.
Right.
Right? So we have to bring the people. So the cost of doing business in St. Martin
It's higher.
is very, very high compared to St. Lucia.
But as a unit for volume doing business, you'd say it's
It's still the biggest.
still the biggest.
It's still the biggest.
When we look at the economy of St. Martin, Mac, what are your concerns for the future?
I have quite a bit of concerns, to be honest. Off camera, we were talking about, the things that boost the economies, especially of small nations, right? And whilst we have the safety net from Holland and in France, the French side, and what have you, the CFT and Holland wants balanced budgets, right? And these are not bad things.
Those are good things. Those are good
These
things.
very good things.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from that. But we have to make sure that whilst it's important to balance your budget and watch expenses and all of those things, we must not lose our sight on what matters most, and that is getting the income
How did you call it? The front door?
through the front door. That's right.
Watching that front door.
That's right.
The money got to come in for you to
gotta
spend
come
it.
through the front door. If not,
Yes.
the taxes are not
Yeah.
going to materialize.
No, I agree.
Right? The more
I-
money comes in, the more taxes you can collect, even
I
if you charge
totally
a lower
agree
rate.
with you where sometimes I see government operating and they're very ambitious in, let's say, closing down businesses.
Yeah.
They're very ambitious, let's say, in compliance from the building departments, etc. but failing to realize that businesses got to be open for money to come in. Places got to be built for money to come in. Permits got to be issued. As you said, money got to come in through the front door.
That's right.
In order for business to continue.
And I still say that it worries me, and I applaud Minister Gibson for coming up with a balanced budget and even a surplus budget. I applaud that. Applaud all the effort that they're making,
into it,
and I hope that the provisions they've made in this budget that they get the income. Because sometimes you could think that it's coming and it doesn't. Right? But I think that he's done a good job with his team of people, because I'm sure he's not sitting there with all the calculators, pen and paper. He's got a good team of people. Right. So I applaud that. No hassle with that at all. I think that's a very, very good thing. But I still get concerned when I look at such a budget and see the kind of money put aside for marketing. This island.
It's not enough. Right? No.
And people could say,
you're saying it's not enough, but it's not. It's too much.
It's not enough by a long shot.
That's what I'm saying. It's not enough.
Yeah, we probably
when you compare it to the Aruba, Aruba spends money.
Yeah, we're probably only spending maybe 15% of what we should spend.
No. We're way below.
Probably maybe 10% of what we should spend. I
totally agree with you.
Yes. So this is a major
being a tourist
problem.
island.
This is a major problem. And
Yeah.
the thing is, whilst we are concentrating on this administrative side of things, and we are not seeing the income generation side of things, other islands are catching up.
Yeah, because they're watching us.
A massive harbour is being built in Jamaica, or must be.
But the BVI also had a
BVI just opened a massive harbour, right? Cuba is going to open up. It's going to have an impact,
that is
right?
Correct. That is correct.
St. Kitts. There are several major hotels are going to St. Kitts. St. Lucia
Antigua's
have put
building
on
a
2
duplicate
brand new
airport to
hotels.
what
Exactly.
we're doing.
Antigua. All these islands are doing so many things, and they're spending money. Aruba is spending money. Curacao is spending more money than us.
They're opening another harbour in Curacao. They're going to build another.
So when you have all of these things happening, and then we are seeing that, the one key thing that brings in money still in St. Martin is still tourism. There is a trade.
That's the main income generating.
There's a trade side of things. There is the benefit of the French side bringing the spending here.
But
there are all these things.
The main
but the
income
key thing is still tourism for 80%.
Yes.
And unless and until we can become like a nation where you can start better universities, more universities that people are starting to study here, like where we can change it more to an educational
shift,
income generation as well, or banking and finance,
for instance,
making it a banking center in the Caribbean. All these things
but
are
until
possible.
But
until then, and that is not going to happen in years, right? It's impossible. It takes a long time for those things to happen. Tourism is your bet, right? And I get very disappointed when I see the kind of budget we put for marketing.
The importance we put to it.
And people are saying, some people will say, but some of the major hotels and so on, they do their own marketing.
No, but it's not. It's far enough.
Right, exactly.
When we go to Aruba, Mr. McSood, and you see what Aruba is spending, we're not even close.
Yes, you have to spend.
And with the numbers that we carry in this country, we need to put more money in.
That's right, you have to.
My last 3 minutes I want to spend and ask Mr. McSood, what's next? How is the car business going? The insurance business holding its own? Let me peep down the future with McSood. 2016, next 10 years. What are we looking at?
Well, I've been here now for over 34 years. Soon it'll be 35 years that I am around here, and I've seen St. Martin manage very well and manage most problems that it faced. I think the problems, though, are getting bigger.
Yes, they are.
Right? So in the past, you could face a Lewis, but we were smaller. We could manage a little bit better, You could face some financial collapse in 1999, and you can manage it very well. No problem. The Gulf War, you were involved in. We managed to still survive and do very well, after the Gulf War. We did. Right? So, we managed very well. I still believe that we have that resilience. I still believe that the Dutch, for all that we might say about them, I think they genuinely have an interest to see St. Martin do well. I don't believe it's the other way around, like most people
I wouldn't
think
want to
it.
believe that.
No.
No.
I think they want to see us do well. They want to see us less dependent on them,
Naturally.
financially.
And we can,
right?
really.
Right, exactly.
We can.
So, but I think they would want to see us do well. The French side, they will support their island as much as they can.
Right.
But the things that concern me are things that, are we marketing the island enough?
Yes.
Are we
Yes.
spending enough money on security? You mentioned the security in
Yes.
terms of the harbour.
Airport.
I am more concerned about security of business people and the population.
You're talking about crime.
Crime. I mean, that can be
Yes.
a destructive
Oh yeah.
factor.
Oh yeah. That could eat you from the inside.
I mean, business people wouldn't want to invest
No.
anymore if their stores get burglarized
Right.
regularly,
No.
if their
Makes
family gets
sense.
killed, if somebody and not even business people, the average
Yes.
the average local person is going to say,
Don't even want to go out in the night to have dinner.
I better save my money and go live in America
Yes,
or go to
yes.
Holland or somewhere, why put all my money
As a
here?
matter of fact,
So
let me
crime is a very
as a matter of
important
fact,
thing,
that is happening in Trinidad.
right? So those things concern me. Yes, it's
Yeah,
happening. Those
right.
things concern me. I said off camera before that
Mm-hmm.
training and education is crucial
Yeah.
for St. Martin and all developing nation. And
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned, though, about the training and education in St. Martin because, like I am in the business, I want mechanics, for example.
Right.
Okay, we've built the Polytechnic School, right? Has the Polytechnic School produced mechanics for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So
where are the people?
You need to tune
where's
in
the
more.
That's
need
right.
to tune in more to what's happening in the island.
In the island,
and
that's
address
right, yeah.
that
That's
with the preparation
Right.
of the.
So a lot of those things are necessary, and it concerned me that whilst we hear a lot of complaints about work permits and this and that and that, but where is the available trained resource?
Right.
Where is it?
We
you
need
know?
that. We need
And
that.
therefore, more and more people are going to come on stream. This is a very young population. More young people will come on stream, and we will start getting like some countries with 35-40% youth unemployment,
And that
that
in and of
accelerates
itself.
into crime. And these things concern me very, very much. I think St. Martin will still remain an attractive island for tourists to come if we market it well, and if we do the basic things, keeping the island clean, and
Right, the basics.
making tax advantageous a little bit.
Mhm.
But that criminal element, that underlying
Yeah.
what else,
That
time
eats
bomb.
away the
That's
fabric
right,
of your community.
That is a major concern.
Mr. McSood, thank you.
And it will affect business big time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Okay, yeah.
And as usual, we'll be back in the next 6 months.
Right, okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, good.
Folks, that was it. And believe it or not, that was a very, very, very interesting interview. And time flies, we're having fun. This was Strictly Business. Thank you.